This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Everyone needs to unload to someone who's unbiased and who isn't judging. Visit betterhelp.com/allies and unload the stress. Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Brad Ellis.
Howdy.
Done with jury duty. High five.
Yes.
Michael Damiani.
It's a me, Chris Pratt.
My Metroid Dread Embargo Dreading co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth.
Embargo dreading. It's funny because I won't even know what the embargo is because we'll just get the game after it comes out.
Release date dreading and making it all happen in the control room, Isla Hink. Hi. Thank you so much. Distinguished guests, we are here to talk about some of the biggest news in the world of video games, most of which dropped today. But before we do that, we must first answer for all of the mistakes we made last week. Isla, begin corrections music, please. Boop. Epic won the anti-steering case, but the judge also said that Apple is still allowed to collect their fees for use of their IP. This means that if a developer were to have purchases available outside of the Apple App Store, they'd still be required to give Apple 30% of that purchase. Multiple shout-outs to Rick Hogue, former sponsor of the Easy Allies podcast, for doing excellent coverage on this. And diving obviously
his
much
video
deeper.
on it's like 2.5 hours, so it's like I would have loved to have caught up on that, but it's a meaty one.
I like the tweets from Hogue where he's like starting the video, like some announcement will happen, and he's like, "Well, there I go." And like,
yeah,
get to work,
it's funny. He like complains about doing a video, like this is a side gig, dude.
The profitability of the Epic Game Store that the judge was skeptical about specifically was their projections for now until 2023, not necessarily long term. August NPDs apparently don't include upgrades, so Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut bonus content falls under DLC microtransactions. So Tsushima's position bumping up in the NPDs was the game, $60 and $70 full purchases.
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah. As claimed, again, I did not get that from Piscatella, but some comments referred to that. In Marvel's Rise of the Imperfects, you can extend and sheathe Wolverine's claws with the button. Thank you for that.
Nice.
Love it. I'm making a list down.
Nice.
The only reason I've ever heard to play Marvel's Rise of the Imperfects. And we talked about a potential subscription-based road service. I don't know if that was in an extra Love and Respect question. But we talked about if game companies could own roads, or if like
corporate roads.
Right,
Yeah,
corporate roads.
Right.
Walter Rue adds that Street Pass would be the perfect name
That's funny. That is funny.
for that.
Yeah.
Thank you
Very
very much,
true.
Walter. And corrections music, please.
Boop.
Let's do Star and Roll, which Brad is now well versed in. Before we jump into gaming news, the Hollywood needs our help. We have several actors that have dropped out of major Hollywood films, and we need to supplant them with characters that we may be familiar with and movies that we may or may not have seen, depending on Bloodworth's past.
I don't think I updated my doc last time I got to do that.
Oh, you're writing all these down? The official doc, not the doc of movies that you need to see.
Right.
Which we are learning maybe is growing even faster than the other doc. From Sam Joven. Oh, no. Kurt Russell as R.J. McCready has walked off the set of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a really good cast. The cast will definitely support whoever fills in. But which of these specific characters will take his place? Chris Redfield? Sebastian Castellanos?
Oh wow.
Or Samus?
Samus.
I mean, it'd be fun to get a girl in there, but Chris Redfield would be pretty funny.
I'm feeling Sebastian
He's got the hair. He's definitely got the kind of the...
because it's funny because
warmth.
it's sort of like you're throwing together like two different things to just because with the Thing like you're trying to figure out okay who's real who's not, but then Sebastian doesn't know what's real and what's not.
It's true. They figure out who the Thing is, and then he figures out if he's awake or not after that. What do we think? Redfield's pretty funny, though.
Redfield has the same kind of like gritty, annoyed quality that
Same energy.
McCready has.
What do you think, Damiani?
I'm not sure.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
I tried.
Sebastian, then.
Sebastian.
Well-
Yeah, Sebastian it is.
I'm ashamed to say I don't know who Sebastian is.
It's Evil Within.
Evil Thing, yeah.
Okay, so
We got him.
Yeah, I was just like
Rurik!
trying to figure it out, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't know enough about them, so I'd have to go with like probably Chris.
I think that's... Is that
Chris
fair?
is also good. Sure. I'm down.
I like Chris.
Punch something.
So
All right.
Chris then. Okay.
From Nick Ushinsky, Jack Nicholson was fed up with the deli platter selection. Apparently, Craft Services, get your act together, has walked off the set during production of The Shining.
Whoa.
Who are we replacing him with?
Oh no.
Duke Nukem,
God.
Mr. X from RE2,
Oh, shit.
or Raz from Psychonauts.
Raz.
What?
The bat.
Raz is the killer. Yeah, Raz is very
Love
funny.
of my life.
Raz?
Wow.
Duke Nukem, Mr. X, or Raz.
Duke Nukem
Wow.
seems like the easiest fit, but Raz would be pretty weird. That'd be a fun movie.
I think Mr. X is the biggest threat.
Yeah.
The most
It's
intimidating.
too on the thing and it kind of breaks the spirit though.
Yeah.
Like they got the physical presence, but they don't have like the emotional.
Yeah,
Although-
I mean, like,
Right.
Raz as a killer is super weird to me also.
But now I'm picturing Mr.
Or
X
Psycho.
like giant sitting at the bar talking to like a ghost version of his dad or whatever.
The interview in the beginning just
Yeah,
cuts
yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth, and it's sitting there in the chair, driving up in the car with them.
You could like barely fit in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. X is pretty good.
It's like Harry.
Let's do Mr. X.
Yeah,
Okay.
That sounds
Mr.
fun.
X. You sold me.
Oh boy! All right. Nintendo happened today. We've gotten pretty lucky. I got to be honest. Sometimes court rulings
and
drop
on
on the day after the
yeah,
podcast.
Thursday, yeah.
We got a big Sony presentation and now a big Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct 9.23. Probably the biggest Nintendo news that will happen for the foreseeable year for 2021.
Well, they did announce the final Smash character, so we'll have to see how that
And
How
goes.
big
Yeah.
that character
and
is.
Animal Crossing as well.
Yeah.
Which we were adding up everything after the presentation, and I was like, that Animal Crossing is very high on my personal list. But we will get to some other things. I love to organize things and talk about announcements first. But I think the biggest thing coming out of this that if early numbers are showing from our reactions that we need to talk about was not an announcement, it was an update. We know that Illumination is working with Shigeru Miyamoto on a feature film Mario Brothers movie. We have had a feature film Mario Brothers movie, a fully animated movie. And we found out the cast today. Before we talk about who's cast in this movie, I want to get a show of hands. Anyone thought that any celebrity would be in this movie?
I thought
That they were going to go the Sonic route? Like,
Hey, Sonic had Cyclops,
I
right?
hadn't thought about it. I just hadn't thought about it. But yeah, when you talk about who it is, and like, yeah, of course it's one of these movies where they're just gonna throw a bunch of names that everybody knows in there, even if it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm with Blood. Like, I wasn't actively thinking about who they cast. I mean, maybe I'd seen stuff about fans wondering about like Charles Martinet's like what they would be doing, because I think it was confirmed they would not be doing the role of Mario in that and ahead of
Okay.
time. But as we saw today, we'll be doing some cameo work. So at least paying some respect there to the original voice, the iconic voice of Mario in the video games. But it makes so much sense that they would go with this, because of this, like looking at similar style films, they all do this, and it just was so surreal to see that. I guess it's Mario now, so it's like these characters are
I
going to be
can
characters
just
we
see
know.
Martinet, his full extent being like Wario on a hog, on a big old motorcycle, just come by, just drop some nonsense on everybody, fart and drive off,
Yeah.
and that's it.
who was that guy? Yeah.
It's Wario.
Well, the multiple Mario joke, I imagine, has got to be in there somewhere. Mario's got to meet Mario. He's got to meet Mario. He's got to meet
Oh,
Mario.
sure.
One's
That's my
pixelated,
guess.
one's 64. Oh, I think
That's my
look at
guess.
all my
My guess
polygons.
is Mario's
Like,
going to be playing Mario at one point,
Sure.
and that's going to be like Charles
Sure.
Martinet's voice. It will be in like the video game
Yeah,
part.
that's a good call.
Yeah.
Great call.
when Miyamoto walked out during this direct, where was your head at, Damiani?
Well, I
Were you
thought it was
like,
gonna
why
be.
the heck?
I thought it was gonna be Pikmin 4 at first, because everyone's been wondering where Pikmin is, and Mimo said years ago it was eminently going to be announced, and the same song and dance as Pikmin 3. But now I've played Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and I'm on board with Pikmin, and I'm actually like,
Oh, I'm so
I
excited,
want Pikmin 4. But it made so much sense. Like, as soon as he said Illumination, I'm like, oh, duh, this is the real big thing. Like, this is what, they need to give an update on this, because people have been wondering. It's kind of like one of the last things of that, like, Mario 35th, that was part of that whole celebration that, like, kind of got pushed off because of COVID. And as you said, we not only got the cast, we got like a release date here in North America next December 21st, 2022. And it seemed like the beginning of that push now because
Right.
like has a date. Let's start getting that marketing out there.
Probably won't get to see it, like they said, until later this year, maybe next year.
Next year, yeah.
Chris Pratt is playing Mario.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it.
You know what gets me? You know what I want to just
I
make
love
sure.
Parks and Rec. I love his portrayal of Star-Lord. I just
Right.
How is he Mario?
Right.
Blood,
He's
that's
gonna
me-
do something.
Wow.
That's me with the entire cast. Everybody in this movie. I'm like, what?
But for people that maybe didn't see the direct and are just seeing the headlines, it deserves to be said that it was like sexy headshot Chris Pratt. It was the first image that we saw.
Headshot.
Was
And it
like
was just there.
was like
Just
kind of black
sitting
and
there the
white,
whole
hair
time.
coiffed, like, hey, what's up? I'm Mario. And it was like, I don't know if this is like when we saw Charlie Day as Luigi, it was like him on just some red carpet somewhere. Like, hey, well, I'm lucky, happy to be here. And so it just fit more of the vibe. Just Pratt giving me sexy eyes was not where I thought this franchise was going. Maybe them
Jones-
with all the amiibo, like
Yeah.
taking a bit
To
of
me,
fun.
it just is like my expectations are dramatically changed now from the portrayal of these characters and how they're going to be portrayed in this movie. Especially if Miyamoto is involved in this, I'm surprised he's letting this happen.
Yeah, it's like
He's a different man.
I can see like them showing him like the dailies or whatever. And Miyamoto's just like, good, like Chris Pratt, perfect.
Yeah.
Like seeing all the like,
Yeah.
who else was in there? Like maybe like Danny DeVito, like all these like great people. I mean, Chris Pratt, like in the roles they've done, as you said, really good. But it's like for Mario, it's like, what did they do to convince Miyamoto? Like, what was that like audition like from Chris
Right.
Pratt?
Yeah.
I gotta hear.
They
that.
were like, oh, he's in Marvel movies and Jurassic Park.
That's probably.
But I think when the energy when it told me it's like Charlie Day for sure, and then following that up with Jack Black as Bowser.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is the kind of unhinged madness I want to see.
But like, is some Japanese guy gonna have to be a Japanese Jack Black in the Japanese version of this Japanese film? Like, you know what I mean? Like it
Oh, like them
Oh, the
dubbing it or
overdubbing?
whatever?
yeah, like is the Japanese Mario guy just gonna try to sound like Mario, or is he gonna like try to sound like Chris Pratt trying to sound like Mario? What
I
is
don't know.
I don't
is
even think about
Nintendo
that.
prepared
I have
for
no idea how those
It's-
things.
I mean,
how
go.
fans are going to, because like Bowsette didn't even like exist and fans ran with that so hard. Like, what's this other universe gonna do to Mario?
And look at what happened with Sonic, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll come down to one, how like when we first see it, there'll be that initial wave of feedback and whether they get the look right. And then like as we like the other big question is like how we know how these actors sound, but like you brought up a good point, Brad, about what their depiction is going to be. Are they even going to try and go anywhere for like
Yeah.
the character voices we've ever heard
It
before?
doesn't- I don't
will be
think
a
so.
completely new style
Yeah.
of take on them. Like, well, Mario not even
Modern-
having no Italian accent for Mario potentially. It's
Modern
like, they might
Mario.
not do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because with the studio that's doing this, with the Minions team, I really do think this has a lot of potential to be like one of the best video game based movies we've ever gotten. But yeah, and it's, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like for these characters to have dialogue.
Well, they wrote a weird story for Sonic. That was a strange
Right.
take on Sonic. I
Oh,
very much
yeah.
enjoyed
But
it.
this is
but
going
like,
to be fully animated.
that was like an idea that someone
That's
had.
the thing with like Sonic. They did this stupid film shortcut where it's like,
Right.
we'll animate the characters and then just make it live action. And it's like, okay, well that sucks.
Yeah, it also necessitates a slightly different like story too, because it is
Yeah.
a live action adaptation. It's not as easy just to do like something really taken from the game. I mean, it has elements that make Sonic Sonic. I think that's why the live action film works so well. But otherwise, you get something else like the original Mario film, which I think with the Easy Allies we personally do enjoy and like
I
that
love that
film.
movie.
Obviously.
But it's like it's
still
completely
bad.
different take.
It's a fantastic
Yeah,
film.
it definitely is trying to do something different because it can't replicate what the actual game is. So now with CG, it's like, do they go in that direction where it looks exactly like the game, just in CG, or are they going to do like an original story? It's like, no, we're going to take some liberties here and there, and I'm very curious what they're going to do. But I do, as you said, Bloworth, I do trust with the team behind it. It probably is prime for having like a really good chance at being a very good movie, and something, and like I'm kind of looking forward to it now, because even if it's not, it's gonna be a spectacular train wreck. That's gonna be worth seeing.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah,
One way or another.
like I want Jack Black to like just burst out in song at one point as Bowser.
He will.
Like that's gotta happen.
Bowser's song, of
Yeah,
course.
Bowser's song.
Yeah, of course.
It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of stuff they are drawing inspirations from, because you know, if you look at the mainline Mario games, then yeah, like story is almost non-existent, you know, except for like Rosalina journal entries and stuff. But I just finished Paper Mario, the Origami King, you know, and like those games are very funny. You know, they've got a lot of great little lines in there. Even there, Mario doesn't really talk.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if there's, you know, any amount of that tone that feels familiar, you know, whether they kind of latch onto that at all, or if it feels just kind of like more of like another Minions thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know who's writing it.
I think it'll
I'm
feel
curious.
like Minions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just picturing Kung Fu Panda, but Bowser this time.
Bowser.
Skadoosh.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what they'll do? I mean, maybe they even do the whole. You were like saying you don't want like the brothers get into a fight type
Yeah,
story,
I'm
and then they
so
come
sick
back
of that
and like
shit.
make.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it being just as simple as that Mario and Luigi are from like the real, quote unquote, real world, and then like
yeah.
it's the OG like.
But we've done
backstory.
that enough
That's what
that I don't
the
want.
the live action one is.
Do it again.
But I mean, they do it.
It's Hollywood.
They
They don't
do
know
it
what to
again, or maybe it's vice versa. But the other thing is, they just be like, no, they already lived there. This is the way it is.
Yeah.
And something weird goes.
They're gonna be living in like a fake New York City, and they're gonna be working at like a pizza restaurant together.
Yeah, Luigi's gonna be trying to make the delivery in time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, have any of the games happened yet, or have all of them happened? You know, like where are we? How
Where are we at in the
self-referential is this
timeline?
going to be?
Yeah.
Is Peach going to get like kidnapped, and then like Mario rescues her, and she's like, "We're done. We're done. I'm tired of this."
I hope
like,
there's
I'm not.
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
gonna
there's
go
a
live like her and
flashback.
Daisy just go to do a Thelma and Louise joke, and then like
There needs to be a flashback to Yoshi carrying like baby Mario. Like I want that.
One of
guy.
the Yoshis.
Well,
yeah.
one of the things that we talked about a few days ago was that like Toad and Yoshi. It's weird because they're a character, but then there's like infinite of them.
right.
So yeah, with Kenan Michael Key like confirmed to be Toad.
The Toad.
I'm curious whether they'll play that joke at all, to where like
They all
he's
sound
just
the
like
same?
talking,
Or like he
like,
comes in,
in
they're
the
like, "So
hundreds.
Toad," and he's like, "I'm not Toad," and he walks in, and then Toad comes in, like, "What did you want?" He
Yeah.
says, "Yeah." That's my guess at his voice. Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach from Queen's Gambit, among many other things.
She's great.
She's great. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
Letting it wash over me. It's like it is what it is at this point for me now.
I have like absolutely no reaction to that. It's like I don't like or dislike Seth Rogen. It just sort of exists to me.
Just Donkey Kong speaking like full lines again.
Yeah.
Right.
Last
It
time-
Or
has
does
not-
he?
it has not been
That's the
good.
thing.
The
We don't
cartoon,
know.
yeah.
Is he just
The
gonna like
cartoon
beat his
was-
chest?
Yeah, it's like George
Disastrous.
Clooney is the cat on South Park. You know, he'll just if Seth Rogen just go, "Ooh, ooh," you know, and like and he gets in, he's in the credits. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, "That was
Okay.
me the whole time."
Sure.
Okay.
You know,
Sure. Okay.
That would be so great. If oh man, I didn't even think about it until now. But if like they don't talk any more than they do in any usual Mario game, they just
won't be, though.
blew the budget, like half of it on the cast.
It's gonna be Donkey Kong being like, "Hey man, you gotta get over Peach, man. She's gone." Mario's gonna be like, "I can't."
I wonder
It's
though
gonna
if
be
like
some
all Seth
stupid
Rogen's
like
done,
that.
this could be like the moment he could just wipe his face down, look at himself in the mirror in the bathroom, like this is it.
This is it.
You've never done anything more important than this. All roads have led to this. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong. Of all the Kongs to like
All the
pull
Kongs.
out,
Cranky
which
Kong's
makes
good Kong.
But that kind of starts to get into lore, you know, if like, oh well, if Cranky's in it, then Donkey's in it, then we're you know, like I wonder if Donkey's gonna make a reference. We're like, hey man, we used to not be friends, you know, like
No, they're gonna go to
we used to-
retirement home to visit Cranky Kong, and there's gonna be other old Nintendo characters there.
yeah, it's just gonna be Wreck-It Ralph. Let's just
Yeah, maybe
just
Mario and
get
Luigi
it.
are gonna be carpenters,
Sure,
or
why the hell
construction
not?
workers or something.
Yeah, they could
But
be.
that
Or
is
plumbers.
like Wrecking Bros.
that's an interesting
or whatever.
question. That maybe someone can throw us in the comments, because I can't think of many instances where Cranky Kong was like with a Mario game. Like
Not
it's
a
like
lot.
the Donkey Kong Country universe.
Yeah.
It's almost like a separate branch of lore.
Mario's like never really there.
Which makes me wonder
Yeah,
if he's bringing
like
everybody
how
in.
is that? How's that gonna work? Like, is Donkey just come strolling in one day? Like,
Yeah.
are they just gonna say the jungle is part of the Mushroom Kingdom, and we just never
Yeah,
knew about
they got
this?
it.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they're all just gonna live in a city, like New York City or something.
I mean, the existence of Cranky Kong definitely
It's
represents.
gonna be New Dog
They're
City.
roommates.
But
They're
yeah.
all roommates.
I mean, nothing. Like, this is all could be possible at this point.
Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike, who is a comedian who I have not followed his work, but seen
Yeah, I'm not familiar with
seen his
this
I've
or
seen his
the
thumbnails,
comic.
but never actually dove in. And shout out to Kevin Michael Richardson, the only, dare I say, voice actor actually on this list as Kamek. Kevin Michael Richardson played many roles. Among them, Joker in the Batman.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
very, very, very wild, interesting take on Joker.
Wait, which Batman?
The Batman, the animated series
okay.
of The Batman.
I don't think I've seen that.
He's very clown-esque.
Was that a Cartoon Network one? The
Don't
Batman?
know.
Okay.
We'll get corrected on that one as well, Blood. Any final thoughts before we move on? We didn't talk about Charlie Day that much, which is, of course, like a gift. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But
It is what it is. And I'm excited to see what it's going to turn into.
I do wonder this, because Nintendo coming out and talking about a movie that they're working with another studio on, that's like Ubisoft's deal. You know, like this is a very un-Nintendo
They've
thing to do.
learned
Feels
from
odd, you know,
Ubisoft.
like Ed Boon talking about Mortal Kombat movie, like all that makes sense. How much are we going to see Nintendo talking about this before launch? Is this going to merge with golf and Smash and everything, or is this like... Is anything on the Switch? Can I download anything on the Switch that is someone inspired by this weird movie we're
I
going to get
wouldn't
next
be
December?
surprised. But yeah, and you know, conversely, it's like how many things can they throw at this movie? You know, and you talk about, you know, do we see a golf course? Do we see a tennis match?
Theme park joke.
You know, do we see strikers? You know, like
What if the new Mario game is based off the movie? That's why we haven't seen it yet.
that would be.
Oh my
funny.
god, dude. The Odyssey
Or it's
team's
like-
been
or it's
making
like
the
the
Mario
Wizard.
movie, dude.
It's the game in the movie. He's playing the new game. That's when we see it for the first
Yeah, that's
time.
where you see the trailer for the game. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think Nintendo's going to push this hard
Yeah, me
for the
too.
rest of the year,
Definitely.
Jones, because I think this is part of an initiative that's gone on for a few years now, Nintendo, where they're trying to expand. They're trying to turn their franchises into like just bigger IPs that go beyond games. I mean, Pokemon has been the most successful, but it's not necessarily Nintendo's. That's the Pokemon companies.
Yeah.
Nintendo has like a little bit of a vested interest in that, but they're like, we need to do it with our own stuff. And Mario is huge, and like
The Lego thing has been really big for them. Yeah.
exactly. I think
Oh, they've announced a ton. I've sadly scrapped those from also this week after, a couple episodes. But yeah, there's been a lot of new Lego sets.
I think if this does very well, it like opens so many doors for like what they're gonna do with not just Mario, but like potentially other properties, like expanding them out. You might get an F-Zero movie.
The
someday,
new
bud.
MCU.
It's Zelda.
It's the new MCU.
The Batman was on the WB and then Cartoon Network later.
That makes
Smash
sense.
Kids
Brothers
WB
like is the name of
first.
the end game like at the end of it. Like they just called the
The-
title
it's the
Super
end game.
Smash.
Super Smash.
Smash Brothers
Master
would
Hand
be
is Thanos.
insane to make a movie out of.
Yeah, is Solid Snake going to be in this movie? Yeah, we'll see.
That's getting like Wreck-It Ralph territory.
They also announced some video games that we didn't know about that are coming to Switch. They said, get ready for lots of talk of winter 2021. Some of this stuff is a little later than that.
Yeah, that was the funny thing. I was keeping track because almost nothing would fall into a definition of winter.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which was leaked earlier in this week. I actually did see that headline where people were like, "Hey, Kirby," and they called it something else. It was like Kirby Discovery or something. They were like,
it's
we know about
probably
this.
a Japanese title that somebody just like did a Google Translate on.
Spring 2022. Wow, this looks like Kirby's big Switch game.
First 3D Kirby game?
Not first, but I don't think that they've done anything quite as extensive this in terms of like the
Well, like
world
actual like
design.
3D platform Kirby.
it looks more in direction of like Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like Kirby Odyssey. I mean, I saw people using that for shorthand, describing it. Obviously, maybe not quite that, but someone like me who has always respected that Kirby has been a very powerful franchise within Nintendo and a very good selling series is never really spoken to me. And the few games I've tried just never really clicked with me. And at least from a visual presentation perspective, this kind of hooked me. And I was liking what I was saying. I was like, you know what? This is all it took, I guess. It was like, a truly open 3D like Kirby game. And now I'm really excited to try this out. And it didn't seem like it was doing anything radically new with powers. I'm not the most well versed. It seemed like it was most of the
Familiar
the classic
powers.
stuff.
There's a lot of classic powers in there, but yeah, I could see that going either way. Or like they want to show you the familiar powers in this 3D environment, but they've got a whole lot of other stuff locked up, and we don't know like what kind of mechanics they're gonna have.
It's gonna be like Odyssey. Because remember when we saw Odyssey early on, we didn't know about the hat mechanic just yet.
Right.
It just looked really cool, like unique looking world. Watch Kirby have that hook. Like Kirby's gonna have some
Something.
like really crazy game like a
Because it is kind of similar. You're going through these big, beautiful environments we know Nintendo has to do really well, borrowing powers from like other things in the environment, looking at a puzzle and thinking there's got to be something around me that's hopping around that I can,
Right.
gobble up and then use that ability.
That is an interesting note, though, because a lot of the traditional Kirby games, because Kirby goes in all kinds of different directions, the powers don't necessarily matter in that way. You don't use them for puzzle solving that much. It's just sort of like grab what you like and get through the level with it. So I'm curious. The one with the needle power where he got really big and like enemies were just sticking to him. That was like the most interesting power usage that I saw. A lot of the others, like the sword and stuff, just looked very traditional. And it's like, okay, Link outfit, sword, hitting things in 3D. But yeah, I'm curious what they could do and what they would do with powers. Another thing that's going to be different that I don't know how they'll necessarily tackle is because of the way that are trying to grab what you want. Usually, Kirby has still been one of those games where you just kind of like scroll the screen back a little bit and then the enemies respawn.
Oh.
And that doesn't necessarily like work out that well in a 3D setting. So I wonder what they'll do to have powers more available to you.
Something that visibly spawns them in the environment or
Yeah.
something. That's always a cue for me when I kill something and then something else spawns. I'm always like, I got to lead you somewhere, don't I? Is this like a Pokemon Arceus situation where like Kirby fans have been like, maybe someday, maybe we'll get, a big 3D world I can explore as this character I love so much? Because I played a lot of Kirby games, but I've never jumped around like this with him. And like you were saying, Damiani, it's just never, Kirby's not my favorite Nintendo franchise. So I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there was like huge demand for something like this to Kirby to deviate into this. I would assume there was at least some people out there who would hope that Kirby would attempt to do something like this. So I feel it's a safe assumption to say, yeah, there are definitely people hoping Kirby franchise would try something like this. And the Switch has been the system of Nintendo properties trying to be a little bit more ambitious in some capacity.
Yeah.
Maybe some more than others, but here's another one. You
and I both said it's like, well, hey, I got kind of my eye on this. It's like, is that what this is? Like a Kirby game that'll.
I think this is trying to make Kirby bigger than ever. This is their attempt to do that. It's like Kirby's been like around for a long time, but he's been nowhere near the level of some of their other IPs. So maybe like let's really go all in on Kirby now and try and make a great game.
I already thought it like two of my friends, and I was like, I gotta let them know. I don't know if they know this game got announced. They'll probably dig it. We'll see. Go Kirby. Get those sales. Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak.
Nice.
A ways away, summer 2022. We'll probably get more details about that, but
Big expansion.
yeah. Killing me with the gothic environment, and then saying come back next summer. It's like, well, I'm not. Okay. Maybe the other trailers will look a little different.
Right.
Maybe they're
You're ready
leaning
for
into
October right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Simultaneous release with the PC version.
That's very
this
nice.
time around.
That's super
Oh.
sweet. I hope you
Yeah.
can carry over your progress though that you made on Rise already on Switch.
that I don't know.
I don't think so,
I
but that'd
doubt
be
it,
sweet.
But yeah.
What is the status of is that when the PC version's coming out?
I
Or
don't think so. I think the PC version is probably coming out before that, but I don't know if we have a definitive date.
We'll probably hear about it at TGS. 'Cause Capcom's
Yeah,
got
maybe.
some
That's a fair
stuff
point, yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars.
Yeah.
Cards, and more cards.
Yeah, Square
Like a
Enix.
simpler
Taro.
card game.
Kyoko.
It's like if you have a friend who's like, I'm not really into cards. Would I like this? Like, no.
Probably not.
There's not much in this game that's not cards.
Yeah.
The dialogue is cards.
It's very good art.
Really good
Yeah.
art. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure I quite get how it plays out and like what the structure of it is. If it's like a story-based thing that everything's represented by cards, or if it's more of a game, or exactly how it's going to play.
So that like map thing was like the cards turning over to show like mountains. Like there's like
Yeah.
the ocean cards on the outside, and like turning over some was like mountain and plains. Is like, oh, that's kind of unique how they're gonna do that. Kind of some curiosity there.
See if I have
ActRaiser
info.
Renaissance.
Very surprised about this.
Man,
Very surprised.
Square Enix is opening up their catalog.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's from the Enix side there.
yeah, there's hope for any of you out there who like think there's a game too obscure from either the Square Enix side. they just pull something like this. So,
Yeah. Really surprising.
But the Super Ghouls and Ghosts game, or Ghosts and Goblins or whatever, they didn't shadow drop that, right? That was a little bit away.
I don't
Like a month or
remember.
two?
No, they announced
Capcom,
that.
yeah.
That'll lead up to its release.
But when they announced that
It wasn't
the Ghost
out
Goblins
immediately.
Resurrected, they didn't shadow drop that. Like
No,
this
no,
was
no, no,
This
no.
was a
This
shadow
is a-
drop.
Yeah.
dramatic, not necessarily reinvention, but style-wise, it definitely
Mm-hmm.
went in a direction and totally retooled this kind of like a cult hit Super
Yeah.
Nintendo game. This is
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
one that
yeah.
I heard about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Soul
it's out.
Seraph. That was kind of a spiritual successor that.
I think there's
I think it was
Activision
Ace
2
Team made that.
also, though. I think there was a 2, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was on Super NES, and that was a bit of a disappointment.
That was more side-scrolling.
Yeah, it was just a side-scrolling action game. It didn't have any of the kind of sim-based elements. Yeah, I don't know. Isla's gonna be playing it and checking it out. She's never. Yeah, you've never played ActRacer before. So.
Correct. I'd heard the name, but I'd never played it, and I didn't know that it had the side-scrolling and like a sim element. So it looks
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
I
just
also
one of
got
those.
the Castlevania thing.
Yeah, it was one of those very early launch window Super NES games that was very impressive at the time. Kind of showed off not only the graphics, but also it used Mode 7 to do that stuff. So that's part of the thing is like kind of the technical achievement of it, and then Yuzo Koshiro doing a soundtrack, amazing soundtrack on that, which as you pointed out, you can either go
Swap
back
back
to
and
the
forth.
original versions or
Which
you
is
can do the
cool.
orchestrated versions.
Love that.
Just visually, just not. I'm not into the look. It's kind of just this weird, kind of cheap 3D look, where I would probably prefer something that was more along the lines of like Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like,
Get something that looks like kind of like a manga or something.
Yeah. That would have definitely helped. It looked a little off to me, and I'm not like someone who really played the original that much at all. Yeah, I forget which team and which business division, but I mean there is one that's like specifically tasked with being in charge of these remasters and which old games get to come back. So it is intriguing to see what they do, but also like the process about how they're going to do it, like choosing this visual style versus something else, because
like what if it looked like an old school map, like an illustrated map rather than just kind of like typical 3D rendered.
Yeah, that, or I mean, just going off what they just did with the Final Fantasy games, the pixel remasters, like how much would it have taken just to like do a pixel remaster of
that
the
game.
ActRacer instead?
Because I think that's part of it. Because again, going back to the time that it came out and the kind of the wow factor that games had with that new generation just popping up, I have this issue with this and with like Trials of Mana. The look of these games is like, okay, you've redone it and you've made it accurate in a lot of ways, but then the look of it just doesn't express that same wow factor today. It's just like I'd almost prefer to just play the original.
I mean, it doesn't
game
look
and-
cutting edge anymore.
Yeah.
Like when they came out.
What was the one that did better? The other Mana one that they did, not Trials.
Legends of Mana.
The one that like actually
looks
has,
like
like
the
this-
PS one.
Yeah,
a lot
they
more.
did a little,
Like
yeah,
that one
yeah.
was probably like the best looking one they've done of the
Yeah, but
bunch.
Trials was like a much more
Yeah.
dramatic change.
full 3D.
Yeah. I don't know if it does, but I would like if it came with the original version of the game. Where you could just play
I
like
think just the music. I got excited when they said,
Yeah, they
he's like, and the old version, I was like,
yeah,
oh,
it'd
that'd
be
so
cool if you
great.
could switch between the styles, but
Well, I think the
Square Enix doesn't seem to do
sprite
that a
looks a
lot.
little bit bigger, actually. The action
it
sprite.
might be, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
hey, I'm glad to see that series come back in some way.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
And all those other remasters and remakes we talked about didn't announce and launch on the same day.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it's one of those things. If you go through all of your direct entries in the eShop, you can actually pick that one up. Chocobo GP, unless I'm getting it wrong, and this game got announced already. Did this not? Was this announced today?
There
Chocobo
have been other
GP?
Chocobo racing games, but I
Right.
think this was just announced.
How many Chocobo racing games? Because I remember the PS1. That was like the classic
Yeah.
Chocobo racing. Has that was it like handhelds of?
Maybe like
done
DS.
sequels?
I think that there is actually a mobile game,
Okay.
or maybe that game is on mobile, something like that.
You're
Maybe
Chocobo.
there was something around the Wii era as well.
You're riding with Gilgamesh and a black mage.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
it's
chucking
Vivi.
spells.
It's Vivi,
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, Gilgamesh is really
And
cool.
Kindu gonna show up.
There's a white mage too.
Yeah.
64-player tournament
That is
brackets.
sick. Yeah, that's rad. I love that.
And it's exclusive to Switch.
2022, yeah.
Competing with Mario Kart. Damn.
But I mean, you know, we used to get that all the time. It's like
We did.
Everybody just
Kart
throw a Mario
races
Kart
were a
clone.
thing at a time.
Yeah. We've gotten a few. We got the Nickelodeon one.
Oh yeah, are those good though? Like we got Crash
I
Team
think
Racing
it's sort of
remake
okay.
or whatever.
The
which is
Crash
cool.
Team Racing was really good.
But yeah, I mean, could be sick. I want to try it.
Castlevania Advance Collection announced
Yeah,
in Shadow Drop,
we knew about this coming for a while.
which
but
Isla's playing right now.
Good to finally see it.
It's
announced.
downloading on my. It's probably downloaded already. I got my
Yeah,
Switch
it's-
charging in the corner there.
The most leaked Shadow Drop that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could imagine.
It's all right. I'll take it.
But I couldn't believe it enough to be like totally comfortable. I was like, something's gonna screw with this. I don't know. We had like with trademarks being filed and
Well, it's the same
Leaks
site that
left and
leaked
right.
Alan Wake remastered, same rating.
but it's
site.
just there's no. It's a good price for games. And what educate me on this version of Rondo of Blood, or it's not Dracula X?
Yeah, it's the Super Nintendo version of Rondo Blood. It's,
Got it.
To me, an inferior version, but it's still cool. That
Have you
can play
taken a peek at what it looks like in the?
I haven't taken a
collection?
peek at what it is. I've played Dracula X.
Nickelodeon Kart Racers currently has a 41.
Okay, so not good.
41
on
on
Metacritic.
Metacritic.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Wow. Not so great.
This also was technically an update because Nintendo Online is a thing that we know exists, but this is a pretty big announcement. You know,
Yeah. People
something
have
that a lot of
rumored
people
this
will
since the
be excited
beginning
about.
of time.
And we're talking about for a while. Again, not a super well kept secret. The Nintendo Online Plus expansion pack. Not only are Nintendo 64 games coming to Nintendo Online, Sega Genesis games
Yeah, which is cool.
are coming to Nintendo Online. What are you more hyped about between the two, Brad?
Probably in 64 because the potential of future releases, I would say.
As hyped as one can get about buying games that they've probably bought before,
Well,
or owning games, or renting them.
as the other two previous subscription service parts of it, NES, SNES, like those counterparts, it has online multiplayer.
Yeah,
so
which is
functionality.
cool, dude. See, like the idea of maybe GoldenEye in the future is so cool if it has online play.
Yeah, I think it's not super surprising. I think that as Ben has famously commented, the NES and Super NES editions have gotten more and more weird. And it's like one of those things where, like, from a game preservation standpoint, it's cool that these things that haven't gotten re-releases in any form have shown up there. But it's just not very exciting as a fan to see something like Claymates and like, okay,
Yeah.
I remember Claymates from Nintendo Power. I don't know much about it. I don't know if I'm going to put the time into learning that much about it. Or Joe and Mac 2. I played the original, but I don't know why the original's not in there, but 2's in there. Okay, cool. So it's a kind of a shot in the arm for the service, which, aside from just being functional, doesn't really have a whole lot
To
other
offer.
than
Yeah.
Tetris 99. So it's going to really sort of depend on how they sell this thing, because they're saying it's going to be an additional cost. Is that going to be another $5 a year? Is it $10 a year? Is it more than that? Can you get your expansion pack for a month and get your fix and say, all right, cool, I don't need it right now. I'm busy with too many games in February.
Right.
So it's good, but it's also, we'll see. I think it does sort of show that, the continuation of this shows that this is probably more successful for Nintendo to go this route than what Virtual Console was, which I have mixed feelings on, because I really love the fact that Virtual Console had so
I love Virtual
many
Console.
games, and it would be really great if those licenses could be transferred even for an upcharge like they did on Wii U. But at the same time, it's like, well, you pay your $10 a year and you get access to 30 games and they just keep adding to it. Then it's like, okay, I guess that's, better than paying $8 a pop for a Super NES game or $10 a pop for an N64 game.
At least you own it, I guess. If you buy it, though. Like
Sure, but if they're not...
Own,
Yeah. Yeah, it's... And then I'm curious what the resolution and the emulation and frame rate are going to be like for N64 games, which are very famously, don't run very well.
Yeah.
So
What about that online frame rate? You know, how well is Star Fox going to run?
Right.
4-player split screen, or not split screen, or what are those menus going to look like?
Sure.
We got to build new menus in, or is it just going to be like a separate thing?
No. So unless they are adding actual new functionality to the games, they'll work like how NES and SNES is, where in the actual the service menu, you can add a player and connect online with them. Then you jump into the game and it acts like it's local. Like, so you go to like multiplayer and you play like that. It's just like you guys are connected online. So
it won't be lobbies. You just
I
invite
don't
a
think
friend.
they're doing that. Like that would cost a lot. I think that would, if it's doing that, expect double the price of like.
So they've set a
what they're
precedent,
charging.
Damiani. So this will run like a dream.
Well, I haven't really, other than the Super Mario Picross game, I don't think I've really messed around with.
How much are you gonna mess around with this?
There's multiplayer Picross that you play with someone?
Because it's 2-player mode. We did for Achieve It Yourself. It was actually Isla and Dawn actually did it that way. Yeah, because the Switches needed to communicate with each other, so we did it through online. So
wow,
there you go.
But I mean, that's the nature of that game. I don't think latency really makes an issue with that.
Right.
But it's a puzzle like game that you have like
a lot different than Mario Kart 64.
Whereas Mario Kart 64, which I think is the first game people are going to go to, if it's like, all right, let's do battle mode or whatever in Mario Kart 64, in the instant, like, something doesn't do, like, wow, that shot was super delayed, it's going to be like,
Yeah.
Will you let us see your placement on the Mario Kart leaderboards?
Do they have
Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart leaderboards in the game? I don't think they have leaderboards in Mario Kart 64.
Oh.
They show, I think they save Ghost in time. Yeah, will you be able to show your Ghost online? I mean, that would be new functionality, though. So
It's going to be the bare minimum.
Because the memory pack stuff, yeah, it's going to be on your system. So I wonder if you'd be able to share that.
That's one thing I wonder, too, the controller. What does the back of that controller look
The
like?
what now?
Oh, yeah.
Joy-Con
What are you
sling?
talking about, Bloodworth?
There's an N64 controller, $50.
Am I going to buy this?
Are you?
I haven't bought. I did not buy the NES controller. I didn't buy the SNES controller. No,
I didn't buy the NES. I did buy the Super NES. I thought, having that D-pad is very, very good. Same, but I'd say the same thing for the N64. Like having that analog stick.
Yeah.
I want that
Yeah.
analog stick.
It's going to be
From
great.
Mario 64.
Also, I think it's got wireless as well. Did it say?
Yeah, they're wireless.
So yeah, like it'll be a good wireless N64 controller.
And a Genesis controller too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool.
We were like, right, 64 controller. Then he whipped out that Genesis controller.
Genesis has had
changed things.
the 8-bit dough ones or whatever that are really good. Same with NES and Super Nintendo, but I don't think there's ever been an N64 one like this. So I
There's
think
never been like
this
a
is
re-release.
this is. I think the
controller
N64
like this,
one's a big deal, and I think it's gonna be like the hardest to get.
Yeah, it will be.
So if you want to try and get one of those, it'll only going through the My Nintendo thing again.
That
so
actually
you have
makes
to-
it easier.
That's
That-
right.
I
Yeah.
actually really like that
like
they
Steam
do it
style.
this way.
They said more information will be released in October about that, so you have to stay tuned. But yeah, I'm curious to you, Blood, like what the back looks like if it's just like sealed, if even it has that groove for where the memory pack went, or what are they doing with that? Also, like if it'll literally be identical to the finish because it looked identical, or if they maybe when people get in their hands something slightly changed about it or something.
I think that the mechanism at the bottom of that control stick is gonna have to be different because there were just issues with, and they just wouldn't use what they used back then, like the dry lubricant and all that stuff that got all gummy if you were in a humid climate, or I think that they'll probably do something different with the ball at the base of that stick, but I'm curious what it'll actually look like and feel like.
Same.
Joy-Con drift on it now.
Yeah, people are asking if it'll have drift. Yeah, we'll see.
It's not authentic if it doesn't have the drift. If
That's
you,
when we'll
if
know.
you turn your
Oh,
switch
they
on
made this
with the stick to the left and it doesn't break everything.
Like old school N64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have that, I'm pissed.
I mean, the other authentic thing would be is once you start a game, you want to be able to connect extra controllers. They have to be plugged in before you turn the system on.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
old
Right.
thing, you remember?
That was an improvement with the GameCube. They could hot swap.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember, was it Marvel Ultimate Alliance? They were really talking that up when I saw the GameCube version in a preview. They're like, yeah, this is the only system that lets us do this. You can just like join and exit the game just by like plugging or unplugging the controller. The system doesn't give you any kind of like, oh, party foul, like if you do that on the Xbox or something.
Saw Bayonetta 3 again.
Yeah.
Again.
That was cool.
All we had was a CG teaser. This is it. This is
But
the
they
first
made
look.
the CG teaser for the game. They weren't like repurposing a Bayonetta 2 cutscene. That was in a Bayonetta 3 original
Sure.
It was, yeah.
cinematic that we got 4 years
About
ago.
time.
It's
Quote, unfashionably late, but ready to give you everything you want, which was kaiju. We didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know we wanted.
We've sort of had them before, but we've never been able
To
to
this
control
level.
them directly, like moving
A
around.
built-in mechanic, yeah.
Is this a good day for Bayonetta to come back? Was this a good way?
Yeah.
Are we pleased?
I mean, at this point, people are desperate for anything Bayonetta, so why
yeah.
not?
There were as the cycle usually goes. A few months ago, people were like whispers saying, "Hey, does it even exist? Is it still in development?" I mean, people are like getting concerned about where it was, despite Kami and company saying, "Yeah, it's in development." And then the most recent thing from them was like, "Hey, we are still working hard on it. We just don't. We're not the ones who have control of when we can show it. It's
Right.
up to implying it's up to Nintendo. So it's
Yeah,
like
blame them.
All right, so it's there, and then maybe it's like maybe that was the perfect setup. Lob Nintendo's like, oh, here's a direct, here's Bayonetta 3, and if it's social media is anything to go by, people are just like absolutely like ecstatic that Bayonetta's back and just loving how she looks in it.
Yeah, I think if they showed off some new style and some fun moves and like a weapon or two, I don't think that would have played as well as them having a brand new mechanic. I mean, Ben Moore's not with us for this podcast, but he was like, rewind that, slow it down, freeze frame. Like he was really trying to figure that out. And so it seems like today, even though this is not a franchise that I've been keyed into, they got a lot to chew on, from, her style, what this could mean for the story, a couple of teases there and other games they've worked on.
Yeah, they even had fun with the reveal because I forget if anyone else noticed it. It was definitely Ben who was the most vocal about it because they also obviously played Astral Chain, but calling out the Astral Chain reference, thinking like, wait, Astral Chain 2?
Right.
And it's like, in the back of like, I think most of our minds were like, why would they make 2 before Bayonetta 3?
Yeah, it's like, that's
what is going?
That's
Unless
rough.
Nintendo really like made that call, it's like that seems wrong. And then you saw the reflection. It's like, okay, there's Bayonetta. Yeah, it's Bayonetta. It was a psych out. They're learning from Sakurai.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, so I think it's interesting because it was pretty brief and focused in a way. It's like they had that buildup of uncertainty, right? Where it's like, okay, here's some clues, but we're not gonna we're gonna leave you hanging a little bit. But then once they got into it, it really was just about that kaiju battle. They showed some regular fighting as well.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly about that other mechanic. They didn't really get into her doing a lot of quips or dialogue or anything like that past the introduction. They didn't really give you any kind of idea like what's actually happening in the story at this point. It was just like, all right, we're going to have some big monsters, fight it out.
Is that something you knew in Bayonetta 2 before you got into the campaign? Like what new characters were in and what was going on? Or is it kind of like, is that the kind of fun of Bayonetta? Is just like, just jump in?
Yeah, I think they definitely got into the story a bit. I don't have a clear memory of it, but
Been a while.
they definitely have story trailers and that sort of thing.
I liked the introduction of those big monsters and then the reveal of the mechanic that we're going to use to beat up those monsters. Splatoon 3 also showed up. We've seen Splatoon 3, but came back and showed off a grappling hook, mechs, mammalians.
Mammalians,
Story
yeah.
mode, yeah.
Story, yeah.
How we doing on Splatoon 3, Blood? How's sentiment? These trailers are made for Splatoon fans. I'm not sure how much outreach this franchise is doing. I think if you're kind of dialed in and understand what's going on.
Oh, the fact that they're continuing the Splatoon 2 bit with the developer and the research and the lab coat.
Right.
Like this
that guy.
isn't like what we've been making. It's like, oh, this is footage that we've discovered.
Right.
And we're learning more about what's going on in the Splatoon world right now. And
Persistent and direct bits, I'm all about. Costumes for directs are very key.
yeah, there is definitely some new essentially abilities and power-ups and stuff like that they showed for multiplayer. You had the kind of gummy arm grapple thing going on. You had the mech there as an ability. So I think it's interesting to show things that go beyond just, okay, here's another variation of a gun or explosive. So it'll be really interesting to see how that stuff plays in. And then, them showing sort of the story of the mammalian thing. They did show a lot of, I think there's stuff in there that people could probably grasp in terms of customization as well. You saw like a lot of different skin tones, a lot of different costume options and stuff in there. And then, furry tentacles.
I love, when trailers do the like record scratch hacking thing. We're like, oh, somebody's coming in. They're gonna have an announcement, or this, we're gonna take a curveball. And I like that they had that moment in this trailer, and then 30 seconds after that, I was like, I have no idea what's happening. This is not. I don't know why we paused what necessarily they're revealing. But
Mammals have been absent from this world for generations, except for 2 cats.
Could be huge, right?
2 cats.
But the confidence is high. I mean, Splatoon 2 did. Not speaking in sales necessarily compared to other franchises, but just that seems like a community that's very happy in general. And
but I mean, sales is a big part of it.
It's
done very, very well for a new IP.
They're looking for it to do even better than the sequel, the second one.
Saw Metroid Dread again, but I mean, we're going to be playing that
soon
in like a matter of days, so I don't know how much we want to dive into it. But
there's not actually that much to dive into. It's interesting that they sort of pointed everyone to the website. It's like, you want to dive in? Here, go read the 8 blog entries that we've done. But everything that I saw looked essentially like just clips of other trailers until we got to the second half.
Okay.
When they kind of started like going through areas, there was some environmental stuff there and some abilities that we hadn't really seen that much of before.
But interesting, we talked about Advance Wars Rabbids, and like was one other thing that we mentioned that wasn't in that. So it's interesting that Dread did get as much time as it did, given that there's other things that are, probably not. We're probably not going to get a direct before these Switch launches.
It does make sense for them to show something of it right before launch. Sure. It's gonna, it's a big play for them to try to bring back Metroid, and hopefully that the Switch audience is so huge that it will actually get some good sales numbers for a change.
Yeah, Metroid needs it.
Yeah. A lot of robots crawling.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see gameplay from that, but if it's a shot of like, there's just the green robot running, it's like, okay, the hallway looks generally the same. Triangle Strategy, now officially.
There it is,
Triangle Strategy. I hope they do this as long as that studio's around.
That's a winter game.
It's a winter game.
That's coming out in March.
Yeah. Right. It's almost just the tail end of winter. March. Lots of feedback implemented from the demo, which I think was interesting. And they didn't just, that could be something where they're like, and we've made lots of neat changes. Anyway, moving on. But they like specifically went into it. Like we added the camera. We, going back and reading past dialogue, like that's definitely a fan comment type of thing. I can imagine them being like, oh, we wouldn't have placed that much importance on that, but that does make sense.
Yeah.
If you miss anything.
It's kind of been their MO for a while now. I mean, Bravely Default 2.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. They adjusted a few things. They even called out like the difficulty. And then before that, like they did the same thing with like Octopath Traveler. They did, some testing around that and balancing it. It seems like that. I expect that going forward with every one of their new projects is just to be like, hey, we will have a demo period where we want to adjust stuff for you.
I want their next game to be called like Project Orange Sequence, but then when they really announce the real game's title, it's just called Project.
Right.
Yeah. They dropped the second half instead of just dropping
Project.
Yeah.
Dying Light 2 Cloud version. Coming in February 4th, also
version.
winter. Dying Light 2 Platinum Edition is on October 19th on the Switch.
That's all the DLC looked like.
Knights of the Old Republic. Not a remake, just Knights of the Old Republic.
That's cool.
On the Switch, it's
come to the
portable
Switch.
now.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But just crazy. And it was funny because they just started showing gameplay of Knights of the Old Republic. My brain was like, what's happening right now?
Is that not on any other platform, this
It's
version?
on phones, I think.
It's on phone. I mean, it is downloaded on my phone.
About anything, yeah.
It's just funny to me because the remake's going to be on PlayStation and like PC. And it's like, I don't even know if this is on PlayStation or anything like that.
Yeah, the remake's also like 3 years away.
Oh, yeah, it's far away.
Yeah.
But I've done this thing before. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake on my PlayStation 4, and then I went to Switch to play my Final Fantasy VII. And so I appreciate that Nintendo's got my back for all these things. Is ActRaiser in the SNES collection? That would make sense. Sometime in the next couple months, get that on there.
I don't think there's a lot of Square Enix games in there.
Is it on the Classic?
That'd be fun.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think
I'm
that it's on the
looking.
Classic.
What Square Enix game is even on the SNES service right now?
Disney Magic World 2. Just want to get that out there. Continue discussing Square Enix. I just want to make sure we get that out there. Which is an older game. That is just a point.
I know ActRaiser is on Virtual Console for sure, but I don't know that it's been on anything since then.
Shadowrun Trilogy's coming to Switch. Deltarune Chapter 2 we talked about last week. 1 and 2,
are
coming in a little package, and you get a free update if you already got 1. Mario Party Superstars showed some new maps. Disco Elysium is the final cuts. Awesome. Probably still great on that system.
Yeah.
Maybe not like the best system to play it on. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pack wave 2. Why do I feel like we've had 5 waves of expansion? Was it literally just one?
No, they've only had one. Because when they announced it, they announced all what the things would be. They gave the roadmap.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we got part 1, which
Got
was
it.
just like they added some stuff like EX missions and like the Pura and Robbie's like research thing has like these things you can expand out with. You get the right amount of materials and kill the right amount of enemies. You can like unlock new things, but it wasn't like story driven, and it didn't add new playable characters, which is this one is, which is the Robbie Pura playable in this one. It was widely like just assumed that they were going to be playable because their in-game animations were already there, and then as I said, story stuff. So I think this
Lots
is
of
a more
story stuff.
substantial one.
Lots of
Yeah.
dialogue today.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is getting the cafe it should have had at launch. We are getting an announcement in October. The release in November. ActRaiser is not on SNES,
Okay,
not like
got it.
online or Classic. Wow. Yeah, I wonder if a lot of people just didn't. First time I ever heard about ActRaiser. We'll be getting more info on that soon. I feel bad, Blood, because it's like I'm so excited about that. That's such a great, cozy announcement. I'm gonna boot that game up, walk in there, get a sip of coffee, shut the Switch off, and probably not play Animal Crossing again.
Well,
for
like,
6
what
months.
is it? What is this cafe?
I don't know.
Well-
It was previously where hello.
KK Slider.
Where KK
was-
Slider
yeah.
was. That's where you would
Okay.
go and watch him perform.
But
so
like-
now KK performs in the rain. And it's
Yeah,
just
it's like,
can
what do you do there? Do you just
put a tent over this guy? Come on. And you would listen to him, and you could just get some coffee. And
okay,
sip it.
okay.
Might turn it into a store. Might be stuff you
I mean,
can buy.
yeah, I
Booster.
guarantee that they're gonna have like a go get tea leaves and coffee beans.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna
out of
say-
the
Ah.
thing, you can plant coffee trees
If
or
they're-
collect this. Yeah,
If
it's
they're
a store.
doing a direct, I would hope there'd be more than just
yeah.
that.
Well, probably other Animal Crossing stuff along with it. but-
Yeah, I'm guessing that this will be like just part of
The wave.
bigger wave of what's
Cool.
coming in the next year.
Yeah, they did. Was it Doug Bowser or something said that they had updates planned for Animal Crossing back right around E3, I believe.
Cool.
Because right after the E3 presentation, because there was no Animal Crossing update,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, well, are you still caring about Animal Crossing? Oh yeah, we got updates and stuff. So this is probably like
Phase 1.
phase
30.
2, whatever.
Still downloaded on my Switch. You got it, right, Blood?
Oh
Is
yeah.
it just the two of us? Anybody else got it? Still on their Switch there?
I played Animal
I
Crossing for like
still
a
on my
week.
Switch Lite, but I haven't touched it in forever.
Still on it though. We're getting another Smash Brothers character. The last
The last
Smash
one
Brothers
for
character
Ultimate.
that we did not get today will be revealed in a special live stream on October 5th.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I mean, that's him not only just saying, what this character was and going into detail, but kind of a goodbye. I'm going to go take a nap now. That should be very interesting. And that was the Nintendo Direct. Just in general, any thoughts after on the Direct as a whole? Thought there was kind of
Pretty
something
good.
for everybody.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like hugely mind blowing or anything,
Right.
but we saw some things that we've been wanting to see for a while, which I think is always good. Did you mention the Dying Light 2 cloud version?
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So those it's funny that has been successful enough for people to keep doing them now and then.
Yeah.
Not a lot in the U.S. though. I don't remember. Whenever, like when Resident Evil 7, when those first started to happen, it was like, no, those are all in.
Japan.
Those
There
are
were a
in
couple
Japan.
that
I don't
were
remember
like
us
that,
getting
but
a
like
lot of those.
Hitman was
And
like that,
there's
right?
Never
Control
tried
was
it out.
like that.
Control was
Yeah.
like that.
So
This haven't been as many as there possibly
Doom
could have
Eternal
been.
Cloud, or is that
No, that's
actual?
a
Doom
native game.
Eternal
Wow.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
But it's interesting because I thought they would maybe pick up because maybe that would be the alternative to if there's no such thing as if they're just waiting till the next Switch 2 and there is no such thing as a Switch Pro, it never existed. Cloud version was probably the way to go to start bringing some of those,
Games
multi-platform titles over to
Yeah.
Switch. So it's really interesting which ones pick to do it. Because, Control was an interesting one. It wasn't too far after its release. Dying Light 2 here
Will
is-
be like right
Day and
around when
date.
it comes out.
yeah. And Hitman 3 was like kind of day and date as well. It's just like, what about I don't know if it's contracts that preclude some of these other ones, but like RE8 Village would have made sense to me to put a cloud version on Switch because that game's huge. Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's on everything. Why isn't there a Switch cloud version? Maybe they're like
Even
that.
just like
that
Mercenaries would be kind of cool.
like,
you know?
there are some games that are even they're like, but Control doing it's like that's an intensive game. So it's like, is there such thing as too intensive for cloud? Is-
Maybe they're
what goes into
waiting on
decision-making?
RE8,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
did
there
with
shouldn't
7.
be, but
yeah, because
you're
it's
just-
cloud.
Cloud is just it's streaming video basically, but it's it's interesting. It's an interesting little side element with the Switch.
Well, Nintendo got 20 of my bucks today, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
they at least did that.
Yeah,
Well
it's
done,
good.
Nintendo.
Good
You might
stuff.
get more in the future. And now, a word from our sponsors. If you're carrying a credit card balance month after month, it can feel like you're in a never-ending cycle of debt. Upstart can help you make that final payment so you can get ahead. If you dread looking at your credit card statements, you're not alone. Debt can feel crippling, but Upstart can help you on your path to financial freedom. So many Americans experience financial hardship in the last year. Upstart can help you regain your footing and get things back on track. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan, all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score and is expanding access to affordable credit. Unlike other lenders, Upstart considers your income and current employment to find you a smarter rate for your loan. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. I went through this 5-minute online rate check. It is less than 5 minutes, and I can imagine if you are going through this uncomfortable experience of trying to pay off your bills, it sucks to stay on the internet for a long period of time. You will not have to do it on this site. I can guarantee it. You can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/easyallies. There's a specialist for just about everything, right? When your car breaks down, you go to a mechanic. When there's a problem with your shower, you call a plumber, like Mario and friends. So when you want to get your uneven, crooked teeth fixed, you see an orthodontist. They're the specialists, and that's what sets Candid the invisible, comfortable, and removable aligners above the rest. While poorly reviewed or insanely priced clear aligner companies used general dentists, Candid only works with orthodontists. With Candid, the same orthodontist who created your plan is with you from start to finish, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. Your treatment is prescribed and closely monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who is an expert in tooth movement. You can book an appointment at a Candid studio near you or do everything from the comfort and convenience of your own home. The average Candid treatment is just 6 months. You'll start seeing results way before then, and it costs thousands less than traditional braces. And with your aligner treatment, you'll get Candid's teeth whitening for free. A very young Brandon Jones is very upset at everyone getting Candid and getting their teeth straightened for cheap and quick. It's not the way it used to be. Candid can help you get the straighter, brighter smile you've always wanted. Right now, you can save $75 on your Candid starter kit when you get started from home, or you can book an appointment at a Candid studio near you today. Go to candidco.com/easyallies and use code EasyAllies. That's candidco.com/easyallies, code EasyAllies. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 off your starter kit. candidco.com/easyallies and the code EasyAllies. Fall is busy, but HelloFresh recipes save you time you'd otherwise spend meal planning, shopping, and chopping so you can get back to what matters. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, from vegetarian meals and calorie-smart choices to extra special gourmet options. There's something for everyone to enjoy, with recipes designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Get better value. HelloFresh is over 30% cheaper than shopping at grocery stores, with pre-portioned ingredients that ensure you won't spend money on excess food that ends up going in the trash. I have been enjoying these meals. We got more meals coming. Just got a notice from Isla. I need the specific details. HelloFresh wants to send you more stuff. Send it on over, because their stuff is just delicious, man. You're like, oh, I prepared this, and I'll just take this pocket. What's in there? And it's like always really, 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 really tasty stuff. Oh, boom! Very, very easy and very encouraging. Milo's a fan as well. My 2-year-old just stands up at the counter, loves to watch the food get made. Go to HelloFresh.com/allies14. Use code allies14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/allies14 and use that code allies14 for up to 14 free meals. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. Poor old THQ Nordic also did an event
Oh, right.
that they'd love if you remembered that we had earlier this year that is not dropping Metroid bombs, is not bringing old SNES games back and remastering them and then releasing them in the same
They
day.
are bringing an old game back at least.
But
At least
they-
one.
Yes, it was not quite as reinvented as ActRaiser, but Destroy All Humans Reprobed is the thing. SpongeBob SquarePants is also getting his own game.
Yeah.
New SpongeBob.
The Cosmic
Yeah.
Shake!
I
Exclamation
want to
point.
play it.
I want to play it too, and we haven't even seen gameplay of this.
I mean, I imagine it'll just be like a successor to the last one they did,
Right?
Yeah.
which was fun.
Yeah, I
had a
think a
good time
lot
with
of
that.
people really liked that last year.
And I mean, not the new release, but Bikini Bottom coming back. Right.
Yeah.
But I would not be
Rehydrated.
surprised if that's the same team. They're just
Yeah,
like, hey,
they just did a new game.
do more of this.
So are they not really getting into the gameplay of this because they know we know what it's potentially going to be like? You're like, yeah, just jumping around weird.
Sure, it'll be
vehicles.
similar, yeah.
I think it's probably a little early if they're doing an all new game to like
Yeah.
show it off quite yet. But yeah, I think with licensed stuff, we often see it very early just because like we got to announce that we got the license and this is coming eventually. So
Cartoonish action platformer, Damiani. You excited? You do you play in the other SpongeBob platformers?
I haven't played any of them before.
Ah.
I do know the last one, like, people kind of dug it, so I'm not that surprised that there's a follow-up in the works.
It is 18 years after the original release of Destroy All Humans 2. That was in 2006. And Reprobed is next gen only, where the last Destroy All
Oh.
Humans was on old gen, new gen, and that's just based on the announcement. They have not indicated old gen versions of that.
that's interesting to see people starting to move on from that. Do they have a release window?
2022, just next year
Okay.
sometime. Outcast 2 is coming out. That might be not Outlast, Outcast 2.
Right.
This game was first announced in 2000.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
It was the original 1990 game Outcast.
Wow.
After that game came out, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make another one," and then that just, finances fell through in the company. They weren't able to do that. Appeal Studios is developing Outcast 2. 10 of the original developers are at Appeal Studios working on the sequel to it. And Appeal Studios also released a remake of the original Outcast in 2017. So,
Wow.
that's a franchise you're vaguely familiar with, or you want to jump in?
I am not. I do think I looked at it briefly, but I don't remember a lot about this game.
Brad, the game's called Outcast. What genre are we with this game? Outcast.
Something with shooting.
Third-person shooter?
Yeah.
I need another element. It's not just third person with guns. I need something else, something to spice it up.
Stealth?
Jetpack.
Oh, okay.
Jetpack.
Like Dark Void.
No release date yet. Currently in, quote, pre-alpha, according to their announcement. Jagged Alliance 3. This has also been missing since 1999. Jagged Alliance 2 was in 1999.
Really?
These
Wow,
weird
dude.
French.
Wow.
These weird
Did they
20
re-release
plus
them? Because
year
I
old
feel like I've
franchise.
heard more about these recently.
Outcast is not something I'm familiar with. Jagged Alliance definitely sounds familiar. Turn-based strategy. If you are interested in that franchise and you want to look that stuff up. But just crazy, the two franchises that
Brad.
both ghosted the industry in the same year are now
Back
back.
to Outcast 2. Can you have any idea like what this character's name might be? Again, thinking back to like
okay.
a 90s origins.
90s Origins?
Could you guess? Just throw a name out there.
Jason.
Jack. I'm going to say Jack.
Cutter Slade.
Cutter
Wow.
Slade is so good.
Cutter Slade.
Cutter Slade is great.
That was great.
What's the guy with the dog? The cop with the dog? Who, like sends the
from-
dog in.
Oh,
Dead to Rights.
Dead to Rights, yeah.
I bet his name is something similar to that.
Yeah.
The Dead to Rights dog. Superpower 3, Expeditions Rome, Alex 2, which is all caps Alex, E-L-E-X. Ben said you've always wanted to check out that franchise. And MX versus ATV Legends, still around.
Still
Like
Yeah.
those Codemasters racing games, they're still around.
Yeah,
Not
these,
going anywhere.
These guys have been fairly consistent. I feel like they haven't done a new game for a bit. I feel like they've been kind of revamping some of the old ones, but
Jack Slate. Well, that's my Jack.
Nice,
That's what I'm
yeah.
thinking of. Jack Slate was the
Oh.
Dead to
Dead to
Rights.
Rights.
Got it, got it,
Okay,
got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think in the past MX versus ATV had some really good entries. So be curious to see where they go with this one. They also did a really good job with they had like it's sort of an interactive loading area. So basically it was just just kind of a big open dirt course where you could just screw around while it loaded the real race in the background.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It was really like you could just carry on. It's like, oh, it's done. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're just doing stunts.
But yeah, with Riders Republic a month away, there's nothing else you can throw at me. I'm just spending time on. I'm not curious when that's gonna be coming out though. Always had a soft spot for those games, especially in the 360 era.
Yeah, that's when I played them as well.
Brad. When Lucasfilm Games was reformed, they said, get ready, man. They really said, they were like, you are about to see a Star Wars interactive blitzkrieg to the likes. This is not a direct quote. They basically said there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff coming, a lot of stuff that you have not seen in the franchise yet before. Apparently a script for a David Cage Star Wars game allegedly leaked online.
David Cage specifically or Quantic Dream?
Quantic Dream specifically.
Okay.
Allegedly Quantic Dream
Okay.
is making a Star Wars game.
Whoa.
Now, this is heavily rumored. Quantic Dream, of course. Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. Detroit Become Human.
Wow.
YouTuber Gautaz says Quantic Dream made a deal with Disney for a Star Wars game following the end of its 3-game publishing exclusivity agreement with Sony. Then DualShockers doubled down, posted a separate source supporting the original claim. This game has apparently been in development for roughly 18 months.
Okay.
And Quantic Dream, apparently one of these people that was breaking the story, tweeted this out, and Quantic Dream liked the tweet.
Oh, really? That's
Well, he
interesting.
posted a screenshot of the like and what, you know.
That's interesting. Okay.
Who knows? So, yeah. What is your experience?
Yeah,
I know your
I've
experience with
played-
Star Wars. What's your experience
I've
with Quantic
played
Dream?
Heavy Rain, and that's it. And
You finished Heavy Rain.
I did.
That's better
And
than I did.
And I just thought it was like whatever. And I never played Beyond Two Souls or Detroit though. They didn't seem that interesting to me, those type of games. But maybe in the Star Wars universe, I can get into it more.
I'm not sure. Because when I hear Quantic Dream Star Wars game, I'm like, okay, that could be interesting, but I'm not sure if I want that. And then I hear them say, but wait, this is going to be different from Quantic Dream games. This is going to be a little more action focused.
Sure.
And I'm not sure if I want that either.
Yeah. I think I want that less.
Yeah.
Well, here-
I don't think I want Quantic Dream trying to do action.
Yeah, exactly.
I got Star Wars Jedi, like Fallen Order, like on that action side. So I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm really,
yeah.
I got something I'm really looking forward to whenever they do a sequel to that. I'm willing to let someone else try something different and see what it comes out to, but I'm not expecting anything great.
When I think Quantic Dream Star Wars, I think of like a washed up ex-Jedi drunk and half naked, like dancing around an apartment. Like that's what
Isn't
I
that
think of.
Disco
Yeah, I
Elysium?
mean, how do they
Well, yeah,
how do they get a
that
Quantic Dream game without some form of nudity? You know, it's-
Exactly. And then David Cage programs himself in dancing with the character
yeah.
model in her
But
underwear.
what if you could
Right,
shoot
right.
him in it?
If you could shoot David Cage?
Yeah. Like in a,
Force choke 'em.
in a cantina.
Force choke 'em.
Jeez.
Yeah. Chop his arm off.
All in good fun, of course.
Of course.
One of the people talking about this said, quote, not only the more traditional action gameplay, possibly open world multiplayer elements.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Multiplayer
What?
elements in a quantity.
There's a lot going on there.
What? A lot of this is hard to believe, but at the same time, remember, in 2019, NetEase purchased a minority stake in Quantic Dream around the time, allegedly, that the development began on this game, saying the, quote, development and creation of next-generation games. They saw Quantic Dream in a position to do that. And again, we have seen Lucasfilm come out and scream about how many games that they're releasing, and we already know about a lot of this stuff. Granted, it's not a Star Wars game. We know about Indy. We know about the Massive game,
Right.
which could be a Division variant. We know about KOTOR remake, and there's another Star Wars game. What's that other Star Wars game that's already been announced? Yeah.
Lego Star Wars?
Yeah. No. Oh, I mean that's also
The
true. Yeah,
Skywalker
but I
Saga?
mean that's taken forever to release. In a Nintendo Direct, no
Yeah,
less.
it was the
Oh, wait.
hero shooter.
Isn't that like the
Battle
free-to-play
Royale.
one?
Hunters.
Soldier?
Hunters.
Oh,
no, that's the-
yeah.
Trying to think of the that was one
Free to
word.
play combat arena.
Yeah.
So this sounds unbelievable, and it's not something I'm like super stoked about. You know,
Same.
like I think anybody can really take. I mean, any IP, but you know, certainly fascinating things can happen with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have to. You'd have to wrap your head around it and see a pitch because it's just like it just feels like a bunch of broken bits and pieces that don't really have a cohesive thing putting them together to make it make sense.
Jones, what you said describing the game of like open world and multiplayer elements, that sounds like the pitch meeting they gave to the publisher or whatever to
Like,
make this game.
Yeah, is this like we have the old Republic, so I don't know what you're.
Right. They called him in the office, and open world and multiplayer were just like boxes. That they were
Yeah,
like, pick one.
exactly,
They're like,
yeah.
both. I don't know. We just like the Star Wars a lot.
But one thing that Quantic Dream has done multiple times that's been always really impressive is just their technology and their facial expressions and all of that kind of thing.
True.
And so this
Visually.
could be the first time we see them
Yeah.
do something for this generation. So that could just be mind-blowing just to look at. But yeah, I don't know. Like them going outside of their wheelhouse, I'm not sure. I have my doubts, but I enjoy the way that they structure things and create all these crazy branching paths and stuff that Detroit has, to where it's like even if a script is pretty bad, it still kind of gets you into these moments and like the moment to moment thing can keep you interested, even though it's like, okay, this whole overarching plot is kind of dumb.
But that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine with me because that's kind of where I'm at with the Star Wars franchise. Really bad scripts, but I enjoy it moment to moment. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate being here. All the acting is bad and the script is bad, but
Yeah,
I'm just
true.
happy to hear these sound effects and music.
I'm just happy. I'm kind of happy they're doing something different. It seems like maybe not the same type of game that I've gotten 3 times from them.
And could potentially be like a big cast-driven thing, like Beyond
I
Two
was
Souls
wondering
was.
like what actor's going to be in this
Because
game.
Detroit, I mean,
Matt?
you could tie those people in.
Seth Rogen.
To what you could, these
Yeah.
were familiar actors,
Bounty Hunter.
but not Beyond Two Souls definitely had like a Hollywood, vibe to it. So I
Yes.
wonder if this might have initially been a TV show or something, or Disney Plus was floating something around and then passed it over,
Probably not.
or just or in the way like the High Republic is being done right now in comics and novelizations, that like it was a directive at Lucas that they were like, what do we do with this? Do we make this a movie? Do we make this a game or whatever? Or if it is Gulp, Quantic Dreams and idea and story from the ground up.
I'm
Main
trying
reason-
to,
oh,
I'm
sorry.
trying to I'm just trying to brainstorm what their multiplayer would be like, and it's like I just keep coming back to either multiple people aggregating choices together,
Yeah.
like Jackbox or something, or like what other people choose like influence the world of all the games or something like that. Like I don't know.
It's a
It could
strand
be
game.
Yeah, it's a strand.
Because you could see
game.
percentages a lot, like this
Yeah,
many
'cause it
people
shows-
went
yeah,
this
yeah,
route,
yeah.
and like, it'd be interesting if like you were all trying to do the same thing, and you could see how many people were making different choices to try
Like
to
the
get there.
galaxy goes lighter or darker depending on like what choices people are making, isn't it? It's got world tendency. Yeah.
Yeah. Main reason that I don't believe this, or I'm like super tentative to believe it, is that like we saw Star Wars Hunters as an IP that we're familiar with, saw absolutely nothing from that game. We know a KOTOR remake is on the way, haven't seen anything of that. We know that, indie game is coming, haven't seen that. Like there's so many projects, like why not announce this? If it's 18 months in development,
Sure.
why? I don't know, would that be, could Quantic possibly put the genie back in the bottle there in terms of like, oh, shh, like we don't want to be announced with those other things, or just, I don't know, it seems a weird play to give it to them, not announce it after almost 2 years being made. All look
I
like a
don't
big
know.
dummy
I
if
feel
this
like
doesn't exist.
when you look back at Jedi Fallen Order, we knew about that game for a long time without them like showing anything. Like it's like they really kind of waited until it was pretty
Close.
much done
Yeah.
to show it off. So I think there's sort of a protectiveness around the IP to where there's like and Squadrons. That game
That's
just kind
true.
of came out of nowhere. So even though we knew EA had the license,
Good point. And that was very different for Respawn, and so that was neat to see.
Yeah.
I wonder if all
was.
these people kind of branching out of their comfort zones to make Star
Yeah.
Wars games. Could be. Speaking of Respawn, they worked on that Titanfall franchise.
They sure did. Yeah.
Good.
People dig that one.
Yeah,
Michael
Titanfall's
Damiani
Titanfall
played
2.
and enjoyed Titanfall 2.
yeah, I
I'm
played it
surprised.
recently too.
Titanfall
It's
2.
an FPS. Yeah, you usually don't like FPSs.
And there was a lot of confusion this week about what's going on with Titanfall. Respawn's community guy, Jason Garza, said during a live stream, quote, don't get your hopes up, man. I've said this before. We don't have anything in the works. There's nothing. There's nothing there. We've got too many other games in the works right now. I really appreciate the man in there. Don't get your hopes up, man. Kotaku reported on it. Other people reported on it. A lot of people editorialized that they were like, I want Titanfall. And it's funny because Respawn's not the company right now where I would go out and be like, get your act together.
Right. They're doing incredibly well right now.
You know, succeed for a change, jerks. Like, yeah, Respawn can I think can kind of pick what direction they want to go in. And one of their biggest properties right now is something that they have to work on, I imagine, every single moment that they're awake, just constantly pumping out new ideas. And yet people insist on a sequel to Titanfall 2. Respawn jumped out on Twitter then, after a lot of this reporting, and said, quote, contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds, ellipses.
Well, they probably want to make a new one, but they're not doing it right now, so you probably won't see it for a long time.
Why tweet that, though?
Just to let people know that Titanfall's not dead completely. Because they've been getting that for years already.
Give us
I
false
mean,
hope.
when you put something out there like that, that makes it sound like something's coming very soon.
Not very soon, but like...
I wouldn't say very soon, but I'm sure they want to do it. Maybe they've started something, but I don't think it's close.
In some other twisted way, I mean, that's the series that became Apex.
They didn't say it's at the core, Damiani. They said it's the core.
Because it's their first game. Titanfall was their first
whatever.
game.
I mean, maybe Mechs or something coming Apex Legends the next season or
It's
something.
in the universe, I believe, the Titanfall universe. So
I just imagine, because sometimes I've been to some of these studios, and like they literally will have like sections walled off. I'm like, nope, only people with the right access card can go on the side of the building. And so I do wonder if this community manager just had no idea, and they're like, actually,
yeah,
True.
in this room we've got a.
It's possible,
yeah.
I just imagine Titanfall would be a huge game, like a big ass game they'd have to make.
I mean,
Or something that somehow integrates more closely with Apex, to where it's like you release a Titanfall 3 campaign, but it's like somehow
do something like
bolted
that.
onto Apex, introduces Titans to Apex in some way
Yeah, you
for
could
a
do that.
season or like specific mode. I know that they've sort
the
of
multiplayer,
addressed that in the past a little bit as well, but I don't see them. That's the thing that's a little bit weird to me, is like I don't see them going out and making a separate Titanfall multiplayer game.
I hope that's what I want. I don't
Yeah.
want Apex multiplayer. Titanfall multiplayer is different than Apex,
Yeah.
way different. And I really like Titanfall's multiplayer. And if they brought Titanfall back and didn't do the Titanfall multiplayer, I'd be pretty upset about that. Like the campaign was great in 2, don't get me wrong, but I would want traditional Titanfall multiplayer.
What's this?
Oh, no. After this, no, we need this right now. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well, you were meant to just finish this out, but Sophia just sent me. Chris Pratt just posted a 1-minute video on his Instagram talking about how growing up as a kid, there was a coin-operated laundry, and he stole a quarter out of a wishing well to play the he says Super Mario arcade machine.
Yeah.
So he's always loved this game, but he says he realized that he stole someone else's wish, and that his wish has come true because now he's playing Mario, and he seems very tired, and he goes, and it's a me, Mario, and he goes, that's not the voice. You'll have to wait to hear the voice. We've been working hard on the voice, but he says we've been working hard on the voice. So apparently there's a voice. I don't know.
He's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Stole
This is the,
someone else's
He
wish.
stole a dream.
I stole a wish. It's like,
will Mario
do
be at
it
the
is.
Oscars? Will
Maybe.
Jeff Keighley walk out with Mario at the Oscars?
He would love that.
Keeley at the Oscars.
Reggie
at the
Fils-Aimé and
Oscars.
Keighley hand in hand with Mario.
Yo, yeah, is Miyamoto going to be up there before Kojima?
Kojima would be pissed.
Next up, Kojima, man.
Was the Respawn community director's job harder before this tweet or after this tweet? Like, are they doing them any favors? You know,
Who
because
knows?
like they just get to go back in their little cave and make a game, and then like anyone
Right.
that's forward facing at Respawn, it's like, why did you tell? Oh God,
I imagine they
I
had
bet
to go
people
through a
that
lot of
have-
hoops to
hadn't written
tweet
email
that.
in a while.
So.
Just-
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like somebody at the top was like, here, just post it.
Yeah,
You know?
like,
It's just like,
they either screwed up by doing that, or they went through a lot. They talked to a lot of people, because
Yeah.
that's not something you're just gonna throw out so willy nilly.
but at
shouldn't.
the same time, it's I go back to this thing of they did really well with Apex, surprisingly well with Apex, especially after EA put Titanfall 2 out to die in the middle of Battlefield and Call of Duty, and then
That was so weird.
Yep, it was bad.
even against their own game,
Their
like,
own
what were they-
game.
What were they doing?
They cannibalized themselves. So,
Yeah,
it doesn't
it
make
was
any
bad.
sense.
And then did really better than expected with Jedi Fallen Order. So I think in a lot of ways that they've done enough to sort of afford having a third team
Yeah, definitely.
there
You're
to
right.
work on stuff. And heck, I'm not going to argue if all the people buying season passes and microtransactions pay for the games that I want to play. It's like, yeah, you have your thing over there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take this one.
Yeah, they are. I would say they're prestigious enough to be able to kind of do whatever they want at this point.
Right.
Like EA will just let them do. It's like they've done so well for that company, so why not?
Kind of like with Epic, Fortnite funding the next Ueda game. Like,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Sure,
go over
hell
there
yeah.
and publish that game. Go for it.
Yeah.
Also this week, this actually popped out last week, and I completely missed it, but we had talked previously about crazy auctions that have gotten out of control. There's a fun scandal going on at WATA and Heritage Auctions. I'm going to quote just from the publication that I found. Super Mario Brothers, whose stunning value was sealed by its reception of a 9.4 A++ grade from grading house WATA, was purchased for $100,000 by a group of collectors, including Jim Halperin, then a member of the WATA Advisory Board, and Richard Leche, who has now been revealed via digital evidence provided to Proof as one of the 3 men who founded and started WATA just months before the historic sale of the WATA-graded game that Leche purchased. So people are owning one thing and buying one thing through another company they also own. Or I don't want to get there's not much we can say to that other than
I feel like it's a little over my head for sure. But it definitely it sounds essentially like is not the right term, but like it's like an insider trading, people within the company profiting or essentially setting the pricing for these things, and it's basically inflating what these things should be worth, and that's the biggest controversy, and it makes it really hard for the older school style collectors who they want these things for the history of it and for the to actually be able to play them or to complete a collection, whereas this is more of like the baseball card mentality. It's like, this is important and this is rare, and we're just gonna put a lot of money on it just to say that we have it, and never break it out of this sealed case.
if somebody goes behind bars because of this, I will bring it back to the podcast and we will go into the details. But these are just accusations flying around there.
Yeah, and but at the same time, like, these things have been, there's been a lot of talk of this stuff since that, before that initial auction. So
the whole 100 grand is
there's
like
just more and
peanuts
more
now.
people digging into it, trying to raise this stuff to the surface. So
Yeah. 3 juicy Activision Blizzard updates. The Security and Exchange Commission subpoenaed Activision CEO Bobby Kotick. Now, he has weighed in on a lot of this stuff, but specifically, and the Security and Exchange Commission has not been involved in this, but now they are, what the heck's going on here? And they're looking
now
into
they're in as well.
not only Blizzard, but Bobby over there at Activision as well. Overwatch executive producer Chaco Sonny left Blizzard on the 21st. And Claire Hart, Blizzard's chief legal officer, announced on LinkedIn that she left Blizzard on the 17th. We'll see who leaves next week.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's that last one. It's like, peace. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this
doesn't
is
bode
not-
well.
Legal officer.
Not worth
gone.
it. Gas Station Simulator outsold Deathloop on Steam this
Yeah,
week.
it's crazy.
Blowing up.
Do you have how much it was?
I did not get the actual numbers. Timberborn, which is a Beaver City builder, is also doing incredibly well.
That sounds cool, dude.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that
Timberborn.
game.
That sounds
I was
awesome.
kind of interested in that
So
game.
I love these random games, just knocking everybody else's side on Steam. Fantastic. Sweary's The Good Life launches on October 15th. Chorus launching on December 3rd. I like to call it Chorvis. The Disney Classics Games Collection is getting Jungle Book and the SNES Aladdin, which it should have had
Shinji
originally
Mikami joint.
in an update. I think that's a free update for people that own it, but that is a big...
It's free?
Or it might
I
not.
don't think
No,
it's a free
I think you
update.
can pay.
You can buy the
upgrade
upgrade
it.
or you can buy the full edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sick.
Fortnite is blacklisted from the Apple Store, but just until the judge finalizes the ruling, which isn't that exciting. Which might who knows how long that takes, but there's appeals and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a couple years. Who knows?
But I love that Apple, and I think Tim Sweet. We found out because Tim tweeted that out. He was just like, just so you know. Well, I'm getting back anytime soon. Sadly, Niantic is shutting down Catan World Explorers, an AR game just like Pokemon Go, based on the board game. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that was even a thing.
Right.
It's fun to see franchises try that AR thing and not work out. Good luck, Witcher. Has that officially launched yet, or is that just still in?
Monster Slayer Hunter? What is it called? Whatever. It's been out for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Good luck. Some sad passings this week. Sir Clive Sinclair, the inventor of the ZX Spectrum, among many, 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 many other things, very instrumental, at a ripe age of 81, passed away on September 16th. And on September 18th, we lost Mick McGinty, an artist responsible for a lot of great 90s game artwork, specifically Street Fighter II. Like anything from Street Fighter II that you recognize, a lot of that stuff in Honda's, like a lot of the sequences done in that room were drawn by him. And we mentioned before this was going to happen, but officially the Sega Ikebukuro Gigo, based in Tokyo's Toshima City, is officially shut down. But a huge crowd came in there too. That's the old Sega arcade.
Yeah.
That is not around anymore. I love this. It's in also this week. Oh, look at this. The Castlevania Advance Collection was rated for various consoles in Taiwan, everybody. Fingers crossed. It's on my Switch right now. And you can get double XP in Halo Infinite by purchasing a variety of Kellogg's products.
Wow.
Not just one.
Pop-Tarts, so.
Pop-Tarts, yeah.
Not anymore. Let's play a game!
Oh, okay.
Woo! From Y2 Kyle 89. I like games. What can I say? I like them a lot. Salutations, allies. The Touhou, right? Touhou.
Touhou?
The Touhou Project is an indie bullet hell series famed for its music. So on the off chance the series' main character Remo Hakuri gets into Smash, I've made a game called Touhou or No Bro. I will list 12 things and the panel will have to decide if it's a name of a Touhou song or something else entirely.
Oh my gosh.
Love and respect, Y2 Kyle 89.
way.
You might know what it is if it's not Touhou, though. That's the thing. One of these I did
Maybe.
recognize. Okay, number one.
Thing.
Faith is for the transient people.
I'm into it.
Touhou?
Is that Touhou?
Sure, yeah, Touhou.
Sure.
Yeah.
Touhou? It is.
Yeah, that sounds like a
that's-
shmup song.
That's Sine's theme from the 10th game. Great Material Continuum.
Not.
Final Fantasy or something?
That sounds, great.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, bro. Remember, it's Touhou or no, bro?
No, bro.
No.
That's part of the Ferengi culture in Star Trek.
Of
course.
The Great Material Continuum.
Oh, wow.
That actually does. That sounds right. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I want just one listener out there to be like, isn't that the Ferengi thing? And like, oh, hey, I
I
got
don't
it.
know anything about Star Trek.
Reach for the moon, Immortal Smoke.
Mortal Smoke.
Yeah.
No, bro?
Yes.
Touhou,
Oh, Touhou for sure. That's Moku's theme from the 8th game.
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Murder the gods and topple their thrones.
No, bro.
Touhou. Yeah.
Touhou.
No, bro.
No, bro, that's the antagonist in the webcomic Kill 6 Billion Demons.
What the?
What?
Thank you, Y2 Cal. Dragon King slaying princess.
No, bro.
No.
King?
No,
No,
bro.
bro.
That's Touhou. Momoyo's theme from the 18th game.
18?
We're getting up there.
Jeez.
These are all lies. Number 6, Eastern Mystical Love Consultation.
What the?
No,
No,
bro.
No, bro.
That's Touhou. That's Rimu's theme from the 3rd game.
Gosh.
Diva of Despair.
No, bro.
That's too short. It's got to be
No, bro.
It's too short. I'm gonna go with yes.
No, bro. That's Ram Lethal's theme in Guilty Gear Exarch,
Of course.
Bam Lethal.
Yeah. We need Ben.
which
for that
I know
one.
is pronounced Ramlethal.
Ram Lethal. Yeah.
Yeah. Get those corrections out of there. Delete it. Demon Girl Next Door.
Yes.
No.
No, bro.
No, bro.
No, bro, it's an anime. I thought you guys know anime.
I don't.
Beloved,
Just the books.
beloved tomboyish girl.
What?
I gotta say Touhou.
No, bro.
Oh,
No.
Touhou.
Yeah.
That's Cerno's theme from the 6th game.
Duh.
Magnus Knight.
Magnus
No, that
Knight.
one actually does sound familiar.
So,
Magnus Knight.
No, bro.
Touhou?
That's Touhou. That's Marissa's theme from the 12.8th game.
12.8. Give it Kingdom Hearts a run for their money.
Yeah.
Keeper of Progenitus.
Yes.
Let's go for
These
it.
titles,
bro.
baby.
No, bro?
Yes.
That's a no, bro, Isla. That's a Magic the Gathering card.
Aha.
And finally, Dawn Under Heaven.
Is that a Metal Gear Solid?
No,
No, bro.
No, bro.
That's no, bro. That's a Halo ship.
I was gonna say, that's what I meant to say. I was the whole time I was like, one of these is gonna be a Halo ship. I said Metal Gear Solid, but I was thinking Halo.
I appreciate that. It's time for Love and... Oh, is that...
No, I was going to say, they're pretty similar. Easy to mix them up.
Yeah.
It's time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Schulier Simonton. Hey, allies. I recently beat A Plague Tale Innocence. While I
Nice.
loved the story and world, I found the combat to be rather frustrating at times. In the endgame, where it becomes more prevalent, I kept on dying in the same spots until I put on some Argent Metal by Jeff Plays Guitars on YouTube for reference, and suddenly I began to breeze through these tougher moments. My question is this: have any of the allies used resources outside of a game that may be a bit unusual to help them overcome a segment they're struggling with? This could be music, stuffed animal, a friend or a loved one, a pet, mood lighting, etc. Just got me thinking a bit. As always, love and respect. Outside influences. Getting you that performance you need.
Oh, I don't know.
I know I've used my hand over the screen before. I haven't used, like, I know they were asking for other stuff, but like I've literally done like cover up stuff because it was like distracting for something. So I'm like,
Whoa. And you're playing with one hand? Where do you...
oh, I mean, it was like a turn based, and I was like, I don't need to see this. It's like distracting. So I'm just like,
That's
let's
really
go,
funny.
Let's
That
go.
is hilarious.
Because it was like trying to like throw you off or something. I was like, I don't need to see that. It was like, I think it might have been like Mario RPG. Like I didn't want to see like Mario jumping. I just want to go off the sound. So I'm like, I could have just closed my eyes. I don't know. It wasn't Mario RPG. It was something else. I'm trying to remember what it was. I just can't remember what it was. So like I'm giving you like wrong like examples
right.
here. But I've definitely done something like that where I've used like a hand to cover up part of the screen. I'm like, no.
Your hand. It's an interesting outside influence for gaming. Usually hands are really involved in gaming, you know? It's not some
Well, it's not a touch
curveball.
screen. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, that's not input.
I think the only time I ever did is like in an MMO or something, like music to help with the grind or something. I don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah. Podcasts, just in
I
general.
can't think of anything
Okay.
like to make myself better though.
I got a more interesting one.
Okay.
Concrete one. So there are these duels in Final Fantasy 14
Okay.
in
You just said
in
Sam
this,
Amell,
in the
so
zone.
you got him.
Yeah, you got me. In the zone. And one of them, you only have a certain amount of time to win the duel. And the exact timeline of it is the exact time of Bury the Light. Virgil's theme from Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. So I'd like when I began the fight, I'd play that song, and then like I know
Dude.
like where I needed to be in the song. I'm
That's
like,
a Hudson Hawk reference. Hudson
I
Hawk, anybody?
I gotta
Anyone?
be at
Isla?
this HB by this part of the song, and I'm behind, man. Gotta go. Plus, it's a hype
Wow.
as hell
Funny,
song,
man.
so it's
Wow.
like, yo, let's go. Dual music.
I listen to K-pop when I play chess. That's why I'm a fan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
The Nine Inch Nails album Downward Spiral is inextricably linked to Onimusha for me because we were listening to that while we were playing.
Did it help?
Whoa, that seems like a tonal clash.
But I don't know if it helped, but it definitely and Devil May Cry, we were bouncing around. But yeah, I don't know if it helped. Quake let you, I remember on PC, let you put in other music, and we would do that.
The
Let you
original-
put it in the folder.
The original Xbox had that feature. You could just like basically rip your CDs into the Xbox and then use them
Oh, cool.
for. I am Burnout 3. I just use like a lot of
That's
my own
cool.
music. Yeah.
I think before I finally sunsetted Superman Returns in the Xbox 360, I like put on the John Williams score and just flew around. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
done with this game. Thanks for that. Also, caffeine.
Yeah,
Helps.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
Caffeine
is
no doubt.
helped out a little bit in the past.
And ibuprofen.
From Sean Graham, I recently finished Hollow Knight, which is awesome, and noticed that my final completion percentage was 76. Further, I didn't really feel a need to go and hunt the remaining items. It got me thinking about other games, and upon consulting my Steam library, it seems that the 7 to 80% range is about where I end up on a lot of games. It takes something special like Majora's Mask to make me want 100% a game. What are your normal completion ranges, and what makes a game stand out to go for extra?
For me, I think it's probably about the same. Like, whatever it takes to do a lot of the side stuff and finish the game, but not everything. And, like, Bloodborne's one of the few games I can think of offhand that I did literally everything.
Yeah, I guess for doing more, Jones, it'd have to be content I have not yet experienced. Like, do this to get to, like, this boss or something like that. Like, I will do that kind of thing.
Have you ever been just like so close? You're like 96, and you're like, oh, well, I'll do this dumb thing I'm not excited about.
I've done that before. I'm like, yeah, I'll spend an hour just to finish it off.
That was X-Men, the official game on the 360. I was like, well, I'm 20 minutes away from getting 1,000 gamer score.
Yeah, definitely that.
Symphony of the Night, I always go out of my way to get 303% or whatever you can get on that.
Whoa.
Or 106 or whatever
I
it
remember
was.
what it is.
208 maybe? I'll look it up.
I tend to gravitate towards getting completion stuff in terms of like map and collectibles and side quests. But there's definitely, I don't know, there's definitely tipping points where I'm like, no, that's just not
too
not
tedious.
worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't usually go for trophy completion, or achievements. There's like, I'll look at them and see like, okay, well I can do that, and I'll knock a couple of them off, and then I'll see one that's just like, oh, replay the game on a harder difficulty. It's like, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay with me, And so I think similarly, like sometimes with like collectibles and things, it's like if it just feels like it's just doing a lot of extra just to check something off a list, it doesn't really feel that fun.
Yeah.
200.6.
One's tied to like easily missable things that you'd have to also replay the whole game to get back to a point to try it again or something. Those are the worst too. I hate those.
I had the print guide for The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and I crossed off every single cave in the entire game on my way across the map and stopped. I was
funny.
like, I'm getting them all. And then just like,
okay.
at some point it was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Every cave is the same. What am I doing? What am I building up for?
Yeah, I was definitely all into trying to like clear all those rooms in Resident Evil Village and Psychonauts 2. Definitely like try to get all the side stuff before moving this main story forward.
My progress in that slowly dwindled as I played throughout the game, doing less and less.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Psychonauts in particular, is just there's so many figments.
Yeah,
and
there's
so many
so
weird
many.
places that it's like, okay, I'll try to go for them all, but then once it's like, all right, I've combed this map, I don't know where it is, and like I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the PlayStation era was really good for this sort of stuff. And I mean, I'm sure it was because I had a lot of more time too. But like Suikoden 1 and 2, like it's not required to get all 108 stars, but like you always did. I always did. Or like trying to get the like secret weapon bosses in Final Fantasy VII and stuff. Like, oh man, so much fun.
From Crade Belmont. Listening to my Game of the Year debates is my Christmas present. Having to fast forward through debates to avoid spoilers takes a little bit of my soul away from the great debate. Would the panel name off a couple of games that the community may want to complete before GOTY to avoid spoilers? I know it's impossible to know which games will be argued for, but maybe some games you feel strongly about. Just getting into October, I feel it's a kind of a fun time to throw out. Obviously,
Psychonauts 2 is definitely going to be one of them. And
Hitman is one that people keep bringing up to make
Takes
sure that
Two.
It Takes Two.
Yeah, Hitman, I'm curious
Not a
how
chance.
into spoiler territory it would be worried about, but maybe.
I'm trying to think of a game I liked enough to think it has a chance this year.
I mean, a lot of big things happen in the next couple months, so.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff coming up. I mean, I haven't played Returnal yet, and I bet that's got some crazy spoilers. But I don't know if that's the angle people are going to be talking about that game about.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I
and
don't
keep
think
in mind,
it's the
too,
heaviest angle.
it's not just Game of the Year. Narrative, Life is Strange, True
Yeah,
Colors
right.
might come up,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
So-
Huber will want to bring
Yeah,
that probably.
character.
Your character as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Play everything. I mean, I guess a metric for doing that without being able to say specifically is like maybe as a rule of thumb, if it got like an 8 or better, it
Right.
might come up.
Well,
from
Psychonauts
us.
2 I definitely put on my list.
Yeah.
When I was done reading that review script, I was like, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean Ratchet and Clank, but again, that's one that I don't know how
The story won't be
spoilery,
the
maybe some of
focus,
the worlds
probably.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Tome, best game to play in one night. I'm going to be coming hard for that one. You can be throwing games at me for the next 5 minutes, Blood? Or okay.
No. Nah, we're good.
Time for bets. New World finally launches. I am a little nervous making the bet about New World, but I'm pretty sure it's going to launch on September 28th. I want to know how many times at Play New World will retweet that day. So we always avoid retweets when we do the Twitter bets. This one, it's all there is because, I would imagine that team is hoping that a lot of people are going to have a lot of nice things to say about their game that day, and they want to share that with everyone else. Brad Ellis, how many times are they going to retweet?
I have no idea. 20?
That's a lot. Michael Damiani.
10.
K. Isla Hink.
I made a real weird looking 4.
Nice. That's a beautiful 4.
Thanks.
Daniel Bloodworth.
6.
6. I said 11. I've been close to Damiani. I was close to you in the last week as well for that last week's bet. Kena, Bridge of Spirits. You're playing it. Is it Kena or Kena?
They say Kana.
Kena.
Kana.
Like Kano from Mortal Kombat. Kena.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like the VO
No
says
relation.
Kana.
We did it. That launched on September 21st. I want to know how long the launch trailer would be. Brad Ellis bet 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Damiani bet 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Isla Hink bet 1 minute and 12 seconds. Daniel Bloodworth bet 1 minute and 47 seconds. And I bet 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Well, it's called the release trailer, but it did come out 3 days ago, and it did come out on Sony's channel. And it is 2 minutes and 34 seconds long. I win the trailer bet.
Wow.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, that's cheating, though. Yeah. Jones winning a trailer
about?
bet.
Dude, there are so
Come
many
on.
bets. There's so many bets in the past that I should have won and did not.
little sketch, dude.
Wait till you hear the score, though, Brad. Well, you probably heard it last week. It's not good.
I know.
A little closer. Jovial Penguins are at 25.
It's a first for me. It's my first nude scene.
Vociferous Beavers at 17.
Nom.
Any sort of progress is good news. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. In a word, sexy. In a word, there's a lot of exclusive content that you can get there at patreon.com/easyallies. We would appreciate if you could support us financially and get whatever benefits you would like to get if you would go to that website and check all the stuff that you can get. Along with this podcast 2 days early, you get that on Friday, and you get no sponsored ads plus a couple extra love and respect questions if you would like to get that version of the podcast. But of course, we appreciate all the support from anybody watching the podcast, anybody supporting us at any level, including our shout out tier, the very tip top. Patreon.com/easyallies, 4 wonderful people that we're going to celebrate right now. Shout out to L. Thanos, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, and Nick. Shout out.
Shout
Wow.
Brandon Jones, you won this podcast. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
That was weird.
Neat. You're like, what camera do I?
Yeah, I'm like, who do I cut to?
Who? Hi there. How you doing? Oh, wait. Hi. We're back. Wait. I'll just wait for. Oh, you're still here. Okay, good. I reviewed Lost in Random. This is a game that I took a very long time in reviewing. It was about a week and a half after it launched, but I got a kick out of this game, and it was a fun game to edit because the music is super, super great. There's some weird things with the story and the world, and I would like a little polish.
That
on some
answers
other
that
stuff,
question.
But
Yeah.
music's good. And I just want to say, I hope more high-profile people realize that they don't want to be at Activision anymore and totally bail. I wish it's literally like just the devs. Like the devs would be like, "Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead." You know, they all pack up their bags and move on to companies that treat people well. Cheers. Look at all my polygons. Like,
I also got the Castlevania thing.
skadoosh.